YouTube clips for tonight's show. So, um, just trying to get the word out there, man. You know, little cross promotion. Edward Bernays would be proud, but okay. Anyway. But yeah, that's sort of my point, though. You know, about going over. You know, everybody talks about. You know, oh, we got to keep our eye on the elite. We got to defeat the New World Order. Blah blah blah. And you know, I think one of the things we need to do is learn what's effective for them, and you know, apply it to our own. I don't know. I'll be honest, man. I've grown to be pretty disenchanted with the whole Patriot movement. I don't know. Nowadays, I'm just I hate. I guess I've never been a joiner, and so at first I kind of liked it because I thought, well, it's a little avant-garde. You know, these people are sort of on the cutting edge or whatever or what have you, and but then the more I got into it, the more I realized this is why I hate joining groups. They're just, it's just another group, and I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. Just never been a joiner. I don't like the groups. I'm honestly, I'm totally disenchanted with the whole Patriot movement. I think it's a bunch of crap, basically. And I'm a big believer in lone wolf resistance. And this is basically how I do my lone wolf resistance, man. I'm not part of any group. I'm a big believer in free speech and staying informed. I guess I think Alex Jones said it best when he was saying that this is an info war, and they keep us down by keeping us ignorant and stupid, and almost making it fashionable to be so. So the way we win this thing is we keep our right to free speech, our right to bear arms. We do our research so that we're not ignorant, and then we share the information that we found, and yeah, I guess it's funny. I've often thought, yeah, it seems like the ultimate goal in this movement is for everyone to all have their own talk shows. It's just sort of, and you know, I don't have a problem with that. I find it kind of humorous. But anyway, so we can learn a lot. You know, as controversial as this is to say, we can learn a lot from this Edward Bernays when we're trying to push forward our ideas, using our own propaganda to get our ideas out there, to fight this info war, this information war. We can make sure it gets out to the public, out to as many people as we can reach, and sway public opinion in a way that we think might be better for us as a whole. So I don't know. I just like I said, I just got really disenchanted with the whole Patriot movement. I mean, I've met some cool people in it, but yeah, it just seems like whenever you get a group, leaders start to arise, and whenever you get leaders starting to arise, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with leaders, but then becomes a struggle for leadership. Like other guys, or women for that matter, they want to become the leaders, and so it's because they want power or something, and I see that going on within the Patriot movement, and it makes me sick. I mean, it's just like either you're a natural leader or you're not. You don't have to be petty and jealous. I don't know. I've never really got that I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm human. I know. I know that I'm not above being petty, nor above being jealous. Those are human things. But I mean, when I feel it coming on, I tell myself, okay, you're being an asshole. You're being petty and jealous. So just stop it. But yeah, it seems like other people can't. I don't know. It seems like in this day and age, yeah, they can't seem to turn that off. There's how's the old saying go? Too many chiefs, or not enough Indians, something like that. Yeah, too many chiefs, not enough Indians, or I forgot. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. Anyway, Edward Bernays. So yeah, his book Propaganda, written in 1929. Yeah, he's talking about this. He started talking about this notion of creating a market, creating a demand for your product, not just following the laws of supply and demand, or coming up with the supply to meet a demand. But he's talking about now with mass production. Now that we have mass production, we have to actually go out there. If you're in a business or whatever, you have to actually go out there and create demand for your product. Otherwise, you won't get all this stuff sold. So, and he was one of the forerunners in this mode of thinking, if not the forerunner. So he goes on to He goes on to say in his book Propaganda. Oh shoot. Yeah. Okay. Still, another reason is to be found in the improvements in the techniques of advertising, as regards both the size of the public which can be reached by the printed word, and the methods of appeal. The growth of newspapers and magazines having he's talking about the why business started becoming different, and why advertising for business started becoming different. So yeah, I just wanted to preface that paragraph with that. But yeah, then now I'm going back into the book. Still, another reason is to be found in the improvements in the technique of advertising, as regards both the size of the public which can be reached by the printed word, and the methods of appeal. The growth of newspapers and magazines having a circulation of millions of copies, and the art of modern advertising, expert in making the printed message attractive and persuasive, have placed the businessman in a personal relation with a vast and diversified public. Another modern phenomenon which influences the general policy of big business is the new competition between certain firms and the remainder of the industry to which they belong. Another kind of competition is between whole industries in their struggle for a share of the consumer's dollar. When, for example, a soap manufacturer claims that his product will preserve youth, he is obviously attempting to change the public's mode of thinking about soap in general, a thing of grave importance to the whole industry. Or when the metal furniture industry seeks to convince the public that it is more desirable to spend its money for metal furniture than for wood furniture, it is clearly seeking to alter the taste and standards of a whole generation. In either case, business is seeking to inject itself into the lives and customs of millions of persons. Even in a basic sense, business is becoming dependent on public opinion. With the increasing volume and wider diffusion of wealth in America, thousands of persons now invest in industrial stocks. New stock or bond flotations, upon which an expanding business must depend for its success, can be effected only if the concern has understood how to gain the confidence and goodwill of the general public. Business must express itself and its entire corporate existence so that the public will understand it and accept it. It must dramatize its personality and interpret its objectives in every particular in which it comes into contact with the community or the nation of which it is a part. An oil corporation, which truly understands its many-sided relation to the public, will offer that public not only good oil, but a sound labor policy. A bank will seek to show not only that its management is sound and conservative, but also that its officers are honorable both in their public and in their private life. A store specializing in fashionable men's clothing will express itself in architecture, the authenticity of the goods it offers. A bakery will seek to impress the public with the hygienic care observed in its manufacturing process, not only by wrapping its loaves in dust-proof paper. I guess yeah, this is really showing how old this book is. And throwing its factory open to public inspection, but also by the cleanliness and attractiveness of its delivery wagons. Delivery wagons. A construction firm will take care that the public knows not only that its buildings... the thing I think is funny about this is, so much of this is so applicable today, and you see it actually going on today, but at the same time it was written in 1929, so there's some terms here that are getting to be a little archaic as we go further and further into the 21st century. So anyway, he goes on to say, a construction firm will take care that the public knows not only that its buildings are durable and safe, but also that its employees, when injured at work, are compensated. At whatever point a business enterprise impinges on the public consciousness, it must seek to give its public relations the particular character which will conform to the objectives which it is pursuing. Just as the production manager must be familiar with every element and detail concerning the materials with which he is working, so the man in charge of a firm's public relations must be familiar with the structure, the prejudices, and the whims of the general public, and must handle his problems with the utmost care. The public has its own standards and demands and habits. You may modify them, but you dare not run counter to them. You cannot persuade a whole generation of women to wear long skirts, but you may, by working through leaders of fashion, persuade them to wear evening dresses which are long and black. The public is not an amorphous mass which can be molded at will or dictated to. Both business and the public have their own personalities, which must somehow be brought into friendly agreement. Conflict and suspicion are injurious to both. Modern business must study on what terms the partnership can be made amicable and mutually beneficial. It must explain itself, its aims, its objectives to the public in terms which the public can understand and is willing to accept. Business does not willingly accept dictation from the public. It should not expect that it can dictate to the public. While the public should appreciate the great economic benefits which business offers, thanks to mass production and scientific marketing, business should also appreciate that the public is becoming increasingly discriminative in its standards and should seek to understand its demands and meet them. The relationship between business and the public can be healthy only if it is the relationship of give and take. It is the condition and necessity which has created the need for a specialized field of public relations. Business now calls in the Public Relations Council to advise it, to interpret its purpose to the public, and to suggest those modifications which may make it conform to the public demand. The modifications, then, recommend to make the business conform to its objectives and to the public demand may concern the broadest matters of policy or the apparently most trivial details of execution. It might in one case be necessary to transform entirely the lines of goods sold to conform to changing public demands. In another case, the trouble may be found to lie in such small matters as the dress of the clerks. A jewelry store may complain that its patronage is shrinking.